For a huge portion of my life, I have always had consoles. And I believe the first console I was introduced to was probably the PlayStation 1. We had a Sega Master System, but that was rarely played because, of course, I preferred the PlayStation 1 games. And then I moved on to PlayStation 2, original Xbox, because I really enjoyed the Xbox Live, playing Halo 2 with my brother, 360, and now Xbox One. The past couple of years I've kind of moved away, I've kind of strayed away from playing on consoles. I don't find as much of an enjoyment as I used to, honestly. But that doesn't mean I'm going to completely stop playing on consoles. I think somewhere down the line I'm probably even going to buy a PlayStation 4 to play its own exclusives. But the last couple of years I've had the experience of playing on PC, and it's been more recently that I've been able to upgrade and experience it with a lot more power, and as parts become more cheaper it becomes a lot more affordable, and I honestly feel like there's no rush at this point in time. I have a GTX 1060 in the machine right now, an i5 2500, an SSD in the machine, 16GB of RAM. I did have 8 before, but I recently upgraded. And that's fine for me right now. I can choose to upgrade that whenever I please. And I'm gonna, in the near future, upgrade to an i7, 7th generation. So that'll be really fun. And I'll probably make a video evolved around that, because I'll probably be building the machine. I only had to pay for the graphics card and the SSD. And it's because of where I'm working right now, they've been able to supply me with certain hardware. But within this video I'll be talking about my experience over the past couple of years. Now, before I had this machine, I had my brother-in-law's machine, which had 2 SLI graphics cards in there. I think they were GTX 270s, I believe, that were in there, and they were fine for what I was playing. I was mainly playing Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lords. Still play it to this day, but it run that game fine, and that's probably the main game that I played. And sometimes I play Left 4 Dead 2, but from having that machine, it's allowed me to have the experience of learning what's on the inside and what each component does, which piece of hardware goes here and there. It's an easy process, and it doesn't take long to learn. I have noticed a lot of people have said that they'll probably never get into building a PC or even PC gaming because of how complicated it can be and the price range. And I can tell you, it's definitely not what it seems. I just feel like I've got so much more options. I can be more adventurous with what I'm doing. I can choose how I want things to be. I can choose the layout of my desktop. It's great for multitasking. You've got all your mods, you can change files around if you need to. Like, all of these options are there for you because this is an open platform. True, we do get the odd bad port, but those ports will obviously be patched in the future. They'll be fixed. And by looking at certain games in the past, like Batman Arkham Knight, it had really terrible reviews, and now it's sat at a really positive rating right now on the store. And once I've made that upgrade, I think I'll be set for the next few years, honestly. Maybe even 5 years. I'll probably be fine with what I've got. Because a lot of the new games that are being released, recommended graphics cards are something around like a GTX 1060 6GB, and I'm pretty much set for that. But none of that really matters when Steam has got the largest library of games to exist, and even has emulation. Now, I know emulating games is legal. Downloading an emulator is not illegal, but downloading an ISO for that emulator is illegal, unless you already have that game. I, for example, have Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, and I have that ability to emulate those games because I have already bought those games. Emulation can seem quite confusing to begin with, but once you've found the right YouTube videos and you follow them along accordingly and get all the BIOS out of the way, then it's fine from there. And sometimes it can even be the better experience because you also have options for anti-aliasing. You can really improve the frame rates, you can improve the style or the detail of the games just by doing emulation. You can even do it for games that go as far back as the 80s. But even saying that, you can find a lot of games from the 80s probably on Steam anyway. And that's what I like about Steam. Steam has a huge variety of games. I never have an issue updating drivers. A driver update can take less than 5 minutes depending on how large the file is. Even times like that, it's just no issue. As soon as it's installed, you can continue playing your games. It's just that simple of a thing. I do have the ability to use a Xbox controller or even a PlayStation controller if I don't actually feel like sitting at my own desk and playing games with a mouse and keyboard. That option is always going to be there, and they are making the controller more compatible for each game that they release. And over the past couple of years, I don't think I've had any problems whatsoever while playing on PC. There is the odd game that might crash as soon as it starts, but that's no problem. The majority of the time, that's from the developer's end, and it would take only a matter of a day or two to perhaps put a patch out and fix that problem for everybody. I definitely feel like I got the most out of my own money, and with whatever money I've got left, I can easily spend on very cheap games. Steam generally has these really good sales, and if they don't have a sale on for a game that you like, then there's other websites like G2A and Kinguin, sites which sell even things for consoles, for example. You could even pay for a 3-month Xbox Live Gold membership for really cheap. You could even buy yourself a membership for perhaps even World of Warcraft. You could even buy yourself software like Sony Vegas Pro or even a Windows 10 key. One thing I've noticed about playing on PC since I've been playing a lot of CSGO and PUBG and Overwatch is that people are a lot more vocal on the PC platform. But a lot of those people happen to be between the ages of like 16 and 40. Very rare that you actually get a child playing on games that you play on a regular basis. If I'd have waited any more longer, I'd probably be spending a lot of money on all of this hardware. Graphics cards now are a lot more expensive than what they used to be. I mean, the latest ones have always been expensive, but they've gone up a lot more in price since people have been crypto mining. On Steam Workshop, there's endless possibilities of how you can mod your games. If you don't feel like using Steam Workshop, there's also Nexus Mods, which has a massive library of mods to use for your games. And people have made some incredible things on there too. I've also noticed there's a lot of communities out there that like to try and bring old games or people's fan favourite games to PC. Recently I've been playing Halo 2 Project Cartographer. It's basically the Halo 2 port, but they've obviously made it a lot more optimised and it's a lot more playable than its original release. So I had an amazing time playing that game. I was able to play the campaign, I could even play the multiplayer as well. For the longest of time I always thought it was really difficult to use a mouse and keyboard. It was hard to get my head around for the longest of times. I understood the concept really well and I took a liking to it immediately. It was just so much more fun. You're able to bind your keys very freely, customise the controls to your own liking, and just play the game as comfortably as you please. It's very convenient for games like Elite Dangerous, where you need all these keys in order to play the game. Because in this game you have to use weapons, you have to use mining tools, you need to be able to use your landing gear, the lights on your vehicle, your warp drive. You need to be able to access the menus that are even inside the ship. There's just so much that you can do with this game, and the keyboard is perfect for it. I honestly don't know much else of where to take this video, to be honest, but that's pretty much the experience of me in just a whole year. You know, it's pretty much rinse and repeat from there. You do the same thing. You'll pretty much find yourself doing the same thing every day that you do on your PC. You may watch YouTube videos, you may watch a movie, do spreadsheets, do homework, create graphics designs, edit videos. There's so much you can do with this platform. It's the one thing I levitate to the most for playing games or any other function that I might need it for. And like I mentioned before, I will still have my consoles because I know that consoles are probably always going to have exclusives. As much as I hate to say that, pretty much my experience so far on the PC. Of course, the main thing to be worried about is compatibility. You can't just go buying a GTX 1080, for example, and a motherboard and chip that don't even work together. You can't buy incompatible things, but your machine's not even going to power on. You need a decent enough power supply with a good wattage. I have an 850 watt power supply. That's going to be perfect for my machine. there's a lot I'm planning to do, and by upgrading it's going to be a lot better in the future. As soon as I get that i7 7th generation chip, it's going to be so much more easier to stream. So that's my take on playing on this platform, and just generally using it overall, to be honest. But all I can just say is, I definitely recommend this for anybody to give it a try at least once. And who knows, you might actually enjoy it like I do.